So the comic book industry, mostly the comic book artists and the people who run a lot of these kind of shill-based websites like Bleeding Cool, CBR.com, comicbook.com, they're all still very upset about the rant that the comic book channel, the Comic Book Palace shop owner had the other day. They're still trying to paint him in a very negative light because, for one, what can they do? Right? This guy embarrassed them. And then, to top it off, the way that they acted was embarrassing. And I don't know if it still is. For practically 2 days, Cancel Pigs has been trending. And that's more people. There it is right there, Cancel Pigs, trending in entertainment. The reason that that's trending is because more and more people are finding out about it, and as they do, they look at these comic book pros and laugh at them and see them as small little children who are mad that they're not getting their way. All their tactics have failed. They look like complete fools. So they have to desperately get out there and try to fix this narrative. So they call on the shills, and the shills, when they hear that horn, run. Because this is their chance to get head pats, maybe a tote bag. But the problem is the comic book people are so broke, you don't get a tote bag. Really, all you'll get is a little bit of access and a head pat. But this one, the Daily Rios, says, and I'm just going to read the first tweet, because he just goes on to shit on comic book shops and blame them when the main problem is that the stuff that they sell is trash, because most of these comic book creators are trash. It says, outdated comic retailers saying diversity didn't increase sales, so we should change course. So Glenn, the owner of that shop and YouTube channel, never said anything about diversity. In fact, he said he likes Miles Morales in his rant. But they keep trying to paint this lie that he's some kind of racist to try to smear him, because that's what they need to do. This is what they've always done. Oh, you don't like what we made? Well, you're a bigot. And it's not working this time, because for the past 4 or 5 years now, actually since Trump came into office, and a little bit before that, they've been calling everybody bigots and sexists. And at this point, it's losing its effect, especially when you say the same people that have been saying stuff like that and calling everybody Yahtzees, chanting from the river to the sea. So they look really foolish. In fact, they've never looked dumber than they are right now. So they call these little shills out, and they do their best to damage control for their bosses. And it's alleged now, and there's a very interesting allegation here from this person, Kita, who's responding to Penny Parker, that the Cancel Pigs are calling out a company called Fireball. And what this company does is they train people to kind of skirt away anybody calling out their bullshit. This is a real kind of thing that exists. It might be the first time you're hearing about it, but it's a real thing. These companies that specialize in social media tactics. And what they do is they will sit online all day. They're like a PR crisis team. The biggest one is Renfamous, a paid troll from Weber Shandwick, a PR crisis team. And what these people do is if you go on and say, hey, your sales are down, you're not doing too good in the sales department, well, then someone like this Renfamous troll runs in and starts calling you a bigot or something like that and tries to smear you and destroy you into going away. They're basically paid trolls is what they are. So because of what's going on with Glenn, they've called in these little firms to try and kind of silence people that are talking. It's a last-ditch effort, basically, because they look really stupid. And there's no putting this back in the bottle. They've been looking stupid for a while. In fact, it looks like they're getting desperate because one of them, Tim Sheridan, Cancel Pig, comic book writer, He decided he was going to make a Green Lantern, Alan Scott, who was a Golden Age Green Lantern, or the Golden Age Green Lantern, comic book about him getting blackmailed for being gay. He came out and called people in Comicsgate pretty much bigots, and that people need to buy this book to fight the bigots, basically. He's trying to get people that don't even probably care about the character to buy it to boost the sales so that they could prove that there's a big market for this stuff, and it never made the sales charts. 2 months in a row, because it's a six-issue series, mind you. It didn't make October or November's top 50, which means it's barely selling. We could argue it's probably selling around 10 to 15,000 units, and I'm being generous because it didn't make the top 50. So them sales are real low. And the reason that I'm pointing this out and bringing that into this is to show you that that kind of shit doesn't sell comic books. So this is why they're very upset, because I guarantee you that book is rotting on just about every comic book shelf in a comic book retailer shelf in the country, if they even ordered it. But these people seem to think that getting rid of the comic book retailer is what's going to fix things. It won't, because we actually have bookstore data that they disguise as adult graphic novels, which is bullshit. That's not what this is. They just call it that as PR damage control. Because the only books I've seen from American, even though like Viz is, but I'm not counting them as this. I'm talking about IDW, DC, Marvel, Image. The only time you see them make this list for graphic novels is if it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the other one was Batman Fortnite. And you know why that book made the list? Because it had a Fortnite code in it for skin. That's why it's sold. Everything else, though, is like Spy X Family, Chainsaw Man, One Piece. All these books are in Shonen Jump, basically, except for this one, the Mysteries. I don't know what that is. That's a new one. Obviously, the Mysteries is looks like it's American. So American stuff can hit this list for sure, but it doesn't, because nobody gives a shit about anything that these comic book people make, and this only reinforces Glenn's point that they don't make anything anybody wants. They don't make anything anybody wants, and that's why they're melting down about it, and that's why Cancel Pigs has been trending for 2 days. And this is why they're calling in their little PR group to try and fix this, because they look bad. This is a huge L for the comic book industry, and a lot of people are pointing fingers at them now. A lot of people are looking at them sideways, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you attacking this comic book shop's owner? Why are you attacking this comic book shop owner and talking about, like, his looks and his weight? You never addressed what he actually had to say. So Cancel Pigs has been trending, and as it should. I think it's a hilarious term, and only a genius like Mark Miller could come up with something that would stick so good. I love the term Cancel Pigs. I think it's better than SJW and any of those terms. Cancel Pigs is correct. But he's been trending for 2 days, and they've been trying to cancel him. Why? Because it's easier to go after him than it is that comic book shop owner. But they don't like comic book shops. They want them gone. A very big Twitter thread from Valerie D. Orizio. I might be saying that wrong, but she worked at the Big Two and put out a lengthy tweet today about how snobby comic book professionals basically want to get rid of comic book shops because they see them as an awful market. They don't want those fans. They want to be in bookshops, and they think that bookshops are where the business is going to be for them, and that they'll be able to revitalize everything and get rid of those awful fans that they don't want. And by putting them in bookshops, they'll just be ordered. They'll get one or two, and they'll sit in the shops, and they can sell them to libraries, get the books in libraries. Basically, a market that will buy it whether or not it's good or not, especially the libraries. They'll just buy it and throw it in there. They don't give a shit if it's good or not. This has been a thing that's been going on for a while, by the way, especially with libraries, but that is a longer video. If they do this, it's going to make things worse because their shit doesn't make the book scan top 20 ever. But they fail to see that, and they look foolish. I've been really enjoying this story a little bit because these people have really been exposed by that comic book shop guy, Glenn. He has exposed the hell out of these people, and they are doing such desperate bullshit to try to counter this, and it looks so obvious. Instead of, I don't know, maybe ignoring it and to stop talking about it so that maybe things will quiet down, they keep going, as they do, because they always double down on this bullshit. But it continues to get worse for them, especially the cancel pigs things, which I think is hilarious. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think they'll actually be able to get rid of comic book shops? And if they do, what's going to happen to the industry? What are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell, check out my Rumble and Locals, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.